They will never say it plainly. Not your teachers. Not your managers. Not the neighbors who nod at you in the elevator and look away too quickly. But beneath the pleasantries, beneath the posters and the policies, there is a quieter fear that rarely gets named. It isn't fear of disorder or recession or war. It's the dread of a person who does not need permission. The dread of someone who can't be drafted into the script. The dread of you, an individual who will not be domesticated. You think they tease you because you are unpaired. You think they pity you because your table is set for one. But the story behind the smirk is older and darker. They don't fear failure in you, they fear sovereignty. They don't hate what is fragile in you, they hate what is UN purchasable. Look at the fixtures they fasten to a life and call it virtue: titles, vows, credit scores, committees, badges, tribes. Each one a ring of obligation, each one a leash disguised as a garland. None of those are evil by nature, many are beautiful when chosen freely, but when they're strapped on you by expectation, they become fences around your will. The machine prefers people with handles, hinges, hooks, predictable edges to grip. But a person who carries fewer handles is harder to steer. A person who owes less is harder to buy. A person who answers inwardly, not outwardly, is impossible to schedule. And what resists scheduling disturbs any system built on timetables, efficiencies, and crowds. The unbribable human is a glitch in their code. Philosophers once called it the free spirit, not because it floats above consequence, but because it selects its own ground. Herds move by momentum, they do not ask where they are going, only whether they are together. But a free spirit moves by orientation, by the inner compass that points to what is true rather than what is approved. And that is the compass that unnerves the crowd. Walk through history and you'll see it in different costumes. Athenian gadflies who would rather ask dangerous questions than recite safe answers. Medieval anchorites who preferred silence over applause. Mendicant scholars who traded roofs for insight. The names change, the transgression is constant, they refuse to let their soul be outsourced. Think of a man who turned an emperor into a shade by simply refusing to flinch. Think of a poet who paid for honesty with exile, and wrote more freely from the far edge than the center ever allowed. Think of the scientist who made a universe too large for the old maps and was punished by the cartographers of comfort. Each one committed the same crime, they permitted no gatekeeper to define their horizon. Why does that bother the many? Because freedom forces a comparison. If one person can choose differently and live, then the pressure to keep marching cannot be explained only as the way things are. It begins to look like a decision. And if it is a decision, each member of the herd must ask what exactly they traded for belonging, and whether the bargain was fair. The culture protects itself in the oldest way, by telling cautionary tales about the one who steps aside. The unmarried is called incomplete, the solitary is labeled suspicious, the quiet is renamed antisocial, the still is mistaken for stuck. If he succeeds, they'll say he cheated. If he fails, they'll say the outcome was inevitable. The verdict is written before the trial begins. The point is not accuracy. The point is containment. But understand this, most people are not villains. They are afraid. They are told, from childhood, that safety is a chain disguised as a necklace. They are told stability lives under a pile of contracts. They are told to keep the peace by handing over the sword that points inward. They are told that if everyone just cooperates with the choreography, the dance will end in joy. Many sign their names in good faith. And then some part of them watches you opt out, watches you belong first to your own judgment, and something in them stirs that does not have a permit. They call it recklessness because their language has no generous word for courage they didn't choose. You will recognize the choreography by its questions. When will you settle? Why won't you commit? What are you waiting for? These inquiries arrive dressed as concern, but listen closely and you'll hear a different music. Rejoin the map. Be legible again. Tell us which box to put you in so we don't have to deal with your possibilities. A person with too many exits in his mind terrifies those who feel trapped in their one hallway. This isn't an argument against marriage or community or responsibility. It's an argument against anesthesia, against replacing discernment with default. The free person may marry, may lead, may raise children, may sign contracts, but none of those things own him. He remains the author of his yes. And that authorship is the difference between a vow and a cage. You have likely felt the pushback already. Not always as criticism. Sometimes as sitcoms that translate solitude into buffoonery. Sometimes as newsreels that equate stillness with danger. Sometimes as inspirational posters that celebrate conformity and call it teamwork, while quietly punishing any excellence that refuses to be averaged. Narrative is the soft instrument of control. But narrative can be rewritten. Walk further with me. Ask yourself a private set of questions, the kind that rattle locks. Who would I be if I stopped doing things because people like me do them? What would remain if applause were erased? How much of my calendar is a costume? Where, exactly, does my fear come from, the risk of being myself, or the risk of being seen being myself? If you sit with those quietly, a second kind of fear will appear, not the fear of punishment, but the fear of power, your own. Power is not domination, it is the capacity to act in alignment with reality without trembling for permission. And yes, it is dangerous, dangerous to illusion, dangerous to manipulation, dangerous to any plan that requires your sleep. The herd teaches shame to prevent that awakening. Shame is cheaper than force. It is a lock you carry willingly. It's the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" every time you reach for your integrity. But shame can be answered with accuracy. Who are you? You are the one who must live with the consequences of your choices. Therefore you are the correct authority for them. Solitude, properly understood, is not a punishment of absence but a presence that is undistracted. It is the workshop where the mind learns its own texture, where you can untangle the wires that society braided together and labeled normal. In solitude, the crowd's judgments lose their reverb, the signal of your conscience grows audible. The quieter you become, the more articulate your direction. Psychologists once described a process by which a person becomes integrated, no longer a patchwork of borrowed scripts, but a whole pattern with its own center. That integration doesn't happen in rooms filled with applause. It happens when you accept your contradictions and turn toward them with the patience of a craftsman. You will find parts of you that cling to approval and parts that despise it. Neither must be banished, both must be educated by truth. Consider the image often used to insult you, the lone wolf. They say it to imply exile, failure, or hunger. But they forget that a wolf alone is not a broken creature, it is a creature at the edge of decision. It moves when it means to, hunts when it must, rests where it chooses. Its vulnerability is the price of its range. Its unpredictability is the contour of its freedom. History is littered with people who paid that price and left the world richer for it. The essayist who built a cabin by a pond and returned with a book that still shakes the cages of comfortable minds. The mathematician who refused to publish until the work matched the inner mandate and rewired an entire field. The mystic who fasted in the desert and came back with a vocabulary for the interior life that no liturgy had captured. None of them were safe choices. All of them were necessary. Here is where we must be careful. Solitude can sour into isolation. Skepticism can rot into cynicism. Independence can calcify into pride. Every virtue casts a shadow when it forgets its aim. The aim is not to flee people. The aim is to cease trading your essence for their cheers. The aim is to love others without leasing yourself to them. The aim is to say yes so honestly that no is equally available. What does this look like in the ordinary day, the day without drums or manifestos? It looks like declining the meeting whose only purpose is to prove you belong. It looks like building a craft so sharp that you never have to beg for respect. It looks like learning to live on less so that offers you cannot stomach never have to tempt you. It looks like friendships chosen for sincerity, not optics. It looks like praying or journaling or walking at dawn until the noise inside you falls below the level of hearing and a quieter instrument can take the solo. You will be told that this is selfish. But there is a difference between selfishness and self-possession. Selfishness hoards, self-possession stewards. Selfishness demands the world bend, self-possession bends itself toward what is right. Selfishness uses people, self-possession refuses to use or be used. The free person seeks to be accountable to truth rather than reputation. Count the difference. Let's walk into the engine room of control for a moment. Why does predictability matter so much to institutions? Because prediction enables management, and management enables scale, and scale enables power. If every individual's choices were authored privately and courageously, the graphs would wobble, the forecasts would fog, the levers would lose their teeth. So systems develop cultures that reward compliance and punish emergence. Not because emergence is immoral, but because emergence is unbudgeted. You will feel this when you begin to resist. Invitations to rejoin the map will increase. Critiques will arrive dressed as jokes. Old allies may act confused, even hurt. Be gentle with them. They are not seeing your freedom, they are seeing a mirror tilted at their own bargains. Do not become superior. Becoming superior is just another way of being owned. Choose instead to be steady. Let your life be a quiet explanation that requires no defense. And yet, steadiness doesn't mean softness. There will be days to walk away. The person who can leave is dangerous, not because departure is a threat, but because it is a proof. Nothing external outranks the internal court. Walking away is not a tantrum, it is a sentence with a period at the end. It says, I would rather be honest than hired, I would rather be whole than held, I would rather be real than recognized. Ask yourself, what would you dare if there were no scoreboard? What would you build if your name could not be attached? What habit would you drop if no one would applaud you for quitting? What fear remains once you accept that a smaller life filled with truth is larger than a big life filled with theater? Now, a word on money, the modern leash. Money is neither evil nor holy, it is a tool. But watch how easily it flips the script and recruits your will. Debts you didn't need make your calendar their landlord. Purchases to impress people you don't respect make your soul their tenant. When you reduce what you require, you increase what you can refuse. Minimalism is not an aesthetic, it is a jurisdictional change. It returns the keys of your time to your pocket. A word on love. Love is not a chain unless you make it one. Love chosen by a free person amplifies both lives, love demanded by a frightened person diminishes both. If you love, love as a sovereign, fully present, fully responsible, never abandoned, never absorbed. If you do not love, do not counterfeit it to quiet a chorus. The world does not need more ceremonies, it needs more clean promises. A word on work. Craft is the honorable alternative to spectacle. Build something that can stand on its own legs, and you will not have to keep it upright with your reputation. The world is noisy with declarations, contribute competence. Competition fades when the work is excellent and the needs are modest. Then the market becomes a place you visit, not a house you sleep in. A word on belief. Whether you pray or you do not, the decisive move is the same, to kneel to what is true before you kneel to what is popular. If you worship, do so as a free soul, not as a superstition employee. If you doubt, doubt courageously, until your questions grow honest enough to become a path rather than a pose. Orthodoxy and rebellion are both costumes when they are worn for applause. Now, pause. Notice the mind's reflex to ask, but what will they say? This is the final gate. It isn't guarded by police, it is guarded by your imagination of the crowd's voice. Sit with that voice until it reveals itself as smoke. The crowd is a chorus you conduct in your head. You can lower the volume. You can change the song. You can end the concert. This is the scandal of genuine freedom. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it from you, only you can trade it away. The trade is rarely explicit. It happens when you accept the story that your life's meaning lives in their eyes. It happens when you carry the scoreboard into your bedroom. It happens when you confuse being seen with being known. It happens in inches, and then one day you wake up leased to a life you don't remember consenting to. Reverse it in inches. Sit alone without a screen for 20 minutes a day until your own thoughts stop knocking and start speaking. Spend less than you earn until your choices outrun your invoices. Tell one truth in a place where you used to tell a polite lie. Learn a skill with no audience until the doing is its own applause. Cultivate one friend who would rather see you honest than impressive. Give your body the kind of care you would give a horse you depend on for travel. Keep a small promise to yourself every morning before you keep a big promise to anyone else. These are not hacks. They are the mortar of sovereignty. You will find that as your inner court grows, outer courts grow quieter. Flattery becomes confusing instead of delicious. Insults become informative instead of wounding. Opportunities become choices instead of chains. Silence becomes a feast instead of a famine. And the future, once a bully, becomes an open country that you can enter on foot. The culture will keep whispering its warnings. It will tell you that a person who does not need its approval is dangerous. In a sense, it is right. You are dangerous to pretense, to manipulation, to the lie that human beings are only as real as their group. You are dangerous to any plan that requires your sleepwalking. You are dangerous to the mathematics of control. Do not mistake that for license to trample. The free person does not need to dominate, the free person needs only to decline the throne that would require him to kneel first. Power over others is a counterfeit for power over oneself. The mature use of freedom is service chosen, not servitude enforced. The strongest people you will ever meet are gentle because they have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. Their no is as clean as their yes. Their hands are steady because their hearts are not rented. At the end, when the calendar is thin and the applause has evaporated like mist, what remains is simple. Did you live as the understudy for yourself, or did you take the stage? Did you barter your days for safety, or did you spend them on truth? Did you accept a map because it was popular, or did you learn to read the stars? If you've watched this far, you already know the answer. They are afraid you will discover your freedom is not their enemy, but it is the enemy of their control. Control worships predictability. Freedom worships reality. Reality will always be larger than any system built to cage it. And a human being aligned with reality is the system's most graceful nightmare. So here is the final turn. The question is no longer, why do they fear me? The question is, why would I outsource my life to their fear? Put your attention where no one can trespass, your word, your craft, your threshold for truth. Reduce what you require. Increase what you can refuse. Build what you would be proud to leave without your name on it. Love in a way that enlarges the beloved's freedom and your own. Pray, or walk in silence, in a way that cleans your vision. Become a person whose schedule answers to meaning. When you do, you will notice something paradoxical. The world you once thought you had to conquer will open like a gate that was never locked. People will still attempt to label you arrogant, aloof, impractical, intense. Smile. Labels are boxes for shells you no longer inhabit. You don't have to defend your dimensions to furniture. Stand where you are, unpurchased and awake. Let them call it loneliness if they need a word to feel safe. You will know it by a different name. You will call it the forge. You will call it the studio. You will call it the sanctuary. You will call it the road. And when you walk out from that place, clear, calm, entirely answerable to the truth, you will not need their permission to begin. You will already be underway. The dangerous person they warned themselves about is not a menace to the world, he is a menace to the mask that kept the world from becoming honest. They will not admit it out loud. They don't have to. Your life can do the speaking. Choose. Step. Own your yes. Own your no. Guard your center. Give your work. Keep your soul. Then watch how quietly the chains you never agreed to wear fall from your wrists, one link at a time.